Hi, readers. So glad you're here. Get comfortable. And welcome to Goddess Garden for adults who love a good novel, regardless of the genre, the weirdness, the planets it takes us to, or the openness that we find on the pages. Also, happy Juneteenth. I didn't post on Sunday. I'm posting today, and we'll talk more about what actually happened and why that got caused. But let's go on. From basement dungeons to other worlds, I will read them all and share them in this safe space. So, whether it's morning, whether it's evening, I'm so happy that you're here. And I also want to invite you to join my social pages if you want to do deep dives into the book. And I always do that with Discord. I'm also on Spotify, which is the main place that I put these, and YouTube, Facebook, and MetaQuest. I've got a whole building in the Infiniverse that's just podcasts. So check out the links below. And I also want to share that my co-host is here, my delicious tea, and it's always going to be a part of the show, some beverage that I'm enjoying. Now, we are doing a scripted read as always because I don't want to waste your time or mine. But I just want you to know that out here I'm doing scripted reads, make it easier for everybody. And then I don't get lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? So, as I've always said, there's something for everyone to enjoy. So let's see what I found for us today. And today I have a review of this wonderful book called The Hit Job. Let me share this book with you so that you can check it out. Also, while I pull this up, let me share with you one of the reasons for the delay is I've decided to stop killing trees and printing paper, and I'm using a teleprompter. Now, using a teleprompter, hats off to anybody who's professionally trained to read text and scrolling by. I'm not used to it yet, but I'm going to get there, I promise you. So I just wanted to share with you that still scripted things, it's taken a minute to get comfortable doing that in this space. So stay tuned as it gets far more natural and far more comfortable. Now, back to our book of choice. Today we're reading Hit Job. Can you see this? I'm going to angle it in several ways, so hopefully you can get a chance to see this. This wonderful book is by Eric Cunningham, and it's narrated by KeKe Palmer, Pete Davidson, and a cast of 24 members, mostly known in comedy and film. So when you look at it, you'll see it. It's about 4 hours long, and it's only in audio format on Audible. It's an Audible Plus catalog. Wonderful book. There are 12 episodes, and they're about 30 minutes long. Each episode is a little explicit, so no kiddos. I would definitely suggest that you don't have any children in the room when you're enjoying this book. But it is so much fun. And I've never had a bad KeKe Palmer narration of a book. And this one is right up there with the other books that I've had her narrate for me. And I also enjoy her podcast. So shout out to KeKe Palmer, the podcast and the books. Been a fan for a minute. So let's do a deep dive into Hit Job. This was such a fascinating and fun read. And it follows a character by the name of Bryn Morris. And she's an aspiring artist desperate for a job so she can help her ailing grandmother. As a last resort, she takes a job as an administrative assistant. Now, the company she works for has a lot of moving parts and a lot of characters, but they are truly what makes this adventurous, what makes this funny, and keeps it a fast-paced novel. So you're never going to be bored as you go through this. But we'll focus on Bryn and Geo because they are the main characters. And let's start with where the story takes place. Welcome to Kill Co. Killing society's worst. And that's the motto of the company that she works for. They do bad things for good reason. And it mostly takes place in the office of Kilco. Most of the book itself takes place in the office of Kilco. But you get a little flavor from Home Depot, and there's a diamond show that is definitely worth checking out. It's a highly competitive workforce because there is a contest, and it literally starts the book as like a weird movie trailer that gets you into being a part of these Kilco companies. It has sort of a movie phone voice. Now, this starts with an unauthorized kill number 29. And Brand is under investigation that runs throughout the episodes. And then you have to flash back as they discuss what happened to 8 weeks earlier. And Brand thinks she can work at Kilco and not kill. She just wants to be an administrative assistant. And throughout her orientation, they tell you exactly what you need to know to be a standout employee. Except Brenda doesn't want to be a standout employee. She just wants to help and get this health care coverage so that she can get her grandmother what she needs. Kilco, however, doesn't necessarily look at employees in terms of those that do and those that just work in the office. So, in some bizarre accidents of misinterpretation, Bren winds up as a part of the competition, the contest that's happening at Kilco. And with her co-worker, Geo, they have to come up with creative kills. That's the competition. You can't just kill bad people. It has to be creative to win this competition. Now, this is Bren's first job. And it's important to know that because she wants to do a good job, bless her heart. And she's truly against murder as she gets into this. But the incentives about being a part of the competition drag her in. And so there's this team dynamic, and Brent's unexpectedly getting swept up into it. And because it's a company-wide contest, it forces her to question her morals and whether or not she can actually be a part of this. So she joins forces with this awkward tech nerd named Geo. And her thinking is if Geo can do the kills, but we work together, I can get credit too. Now, I'm not going to tell you much more in terms of the details of this book, but I will say there are some things you definitely have to look out for. The competition, so that you understand who's in the lead, is on a Slaughterfy app. So that's how you track who slaughtered who and who's leading in the competition. And then there is a lot that happens where headphones and listening is such a good idea with this book because you're going to pick up dialogue that you hear in the background as you would in a break room or something where people are talking further away, but it is comedy you cannot miss. Now, Kilco's code of conduct and operations are key to being a leading corporation in this purge-like rules and guiding their mission. Now, what I have often thought, because I've read this book more than once, is this could be such a great environment in terms of if you're thinking of a place to work that is doing good things to bad people. You've got to have a real stringent code of conduct and rules that your employees have to follow. So I really appreciate it. And you'll hear the rules throughout the book. That's also being narrated by one of the characters as a side note. There are office politics. There are some issues with the break room refrigerator. You've been on a job before. You understand the dynamics of the break room fridge. And then there's that catty, self-centered egomaniac that killers tend to be. But you're on the leadership board, and they're starting to feel some type of way. Bren winds up on the leadership board, and she and Geo have their first kill as you move through the book. It doesn't happen until episode 3, but once she gets a taste of it, man, there is absolutely nothing that gets in her way of being on top because the incentives are ridiculous. Um, there's another thing you have to watch out for at KeKe, and that's being aggressively dehired. It's another way of saying you will get whacked if you're not careful in this competition. Being on the bottom is a bad idea. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of what they call creative kills. Brent and Geo take a t shirt gun and turn it into a giant net gun to catch a helicopter. I know it seems crazy, but it happens. There's also killer robot animals, thanks to Geo the Tech Nerd. He's got some skills. And then there is the compression machine that turns diamonds from an evil diamond merchant into, I'm sorry, turns anything that you put in there into a diamond, thanks to this evil diamond merchant. There's also a music festival, but I'm not going to tell you the name of it because I'm not going to say that here. But there's definitely a music festival that you need to be a part of. And it brings the worst of the dark net influencers into one space to have a party. But the goal is this will knock out a crop of bad people in one spot. So that's the goal here. Um, as Brent starts to move up and stay at the top of the leadership board in the competition, she starts to really get uncomfortable with what she's doing. And she's constantly being asked by her grandmother, "You're not over there killing people at KeKe, are you? Because we talked about that." And that can weigh on you when Nana's in your ear asking you, "You're not over there doing wrong, and you're over there doing wrong." And that's exactly what Brent is over there doing. What you're doing wrong. But it is so much fun to enjoy this story. And it comes to a very hilarious conclusion um, where she has to confront management. And management is not really looking to be confronted by its assassins. So, the main points that I would say to take away from such a wonderful, enjoyable read like this is don't go against your moral code. It never works out. And my favorite quote from this book is every kill begins with K. I still laugh at that when I hear it. In my rating systems, as you know, we keep our rating systems handy, and I give this an ovation, a 5. Make no mistake, this book is a good time. I hope you'll enjoy it. Um, as a avid listener of audiobooks, I even turn my written books into audiobooks because thank you, Alexa. She does that for me. I also want to share with you that there's so much going on in this book that if you were to do it in pieces, enjoy a couple of chapters, go and do something else, you will not lose your place. It's going to be something you can jump in and out of anytime you want to. The energy is perfect. So I'm going to say that is Hit Job by Eric Cunningham. Hopefully, if you're an Audible listener, this is a book you're going to enjoy. I'm going to close out this on Juneteenth. Again, happy Juneteenth. I hope you're doing something that helps you feel closer and more connected to where we were and where we're going and how we're going to get there and doing something positive to make that happen. So let's leave with the focus on what books are out there and return with what we found. Now we're going to close this chapter with a bookmark, and I'm going to be seeing you soon. Until we meet again, readers, have a good day. Bye-bye.